So good morning everyone, I'm again here with you to start with the newspaper discussion. So we'll be taking all these articles today. You know that newspaper is quite important for our journey when we talk about the UPSC or any other competition examination. So newspaper becomes an important role if you are actually reading it daily. So you are in the, you can say, link with the current affairs. You can actually make out of the timeline of the events which are happening. Okay. Otherwise also, when you have some fact and if you have the context with respect to that particular fact, that becomes even more easy for you to remember that particular fact. Okay, so that is why newspaper become important. And when we look at the UPSC aspirants, not just the headlines but whatever is given inside these, or you have to dive deep into the concept, you have to dive deep into the you can say background of those things. When we talk about, let's say, somewhere over here India and Pakistan they are talking about, you have to go into the details of India and Pakistan relations. For that also newspaper plays a very significant role. Okay, so welcome back. My name is Lalit Soni and we will start with this analysis today, that is of Indian Express, and we will be talking about these important articles. We will be starting with the practice question, then we will move further with the facts of the day. Then after that we will be talking about the constitution. Sequence may be up and down, but the thing is we will be talking about all these things. Then we will be going further with the important article, that is new government in Jammu and Kashmir. After, you can say, 2019, when the reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir has happened, after that this is the first time that Jammu and Kashmir will witness a, you can say, government over here. So we will be talking about that. Then center hikes the MSPs. You know that before the next sowing season we will be going for the, you can say, announcement of the MSPs. Center has actually announced the MSPs and there are few crops in which center has actually hiked the MSPs. Okay. Then moving further, what is ossification test? Recently there was this issue in the court wherein Supreme Court has actually resorted to the ossification test. So we will be seeing that what is this test, when this test is used, all these things we will be talking about. Okay, this was actually an issue which was related to, recently there was this murder which has happened, that is of MLA Baba Siddiqui. Okay, so with respect to that there was this issue in the court wherein a person who has claimed that he is juvenile and he must be tried under the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay, considering that they have to decide the age of that particular person, and for that they have gone for the ossification test. So all these things are there in our today's menu. We'll start with the front page over here. Omar takes charge as Jammu and Kashmir CM, says won't let Jammu feel they don't have a voice. So we'll be talking about this article. We will be taking a passing reference to this, but we will also discuss about the Jammu and Kashmir's Assembly's power. Okay, we will be discussing about the Jammu and Kashmir's Lieutenant Governor's power. We will see what is the governance structure which is there in Jammu and Kashmir, because that is important for our examination. Okay, so we will be talking about this article. Then coming to this one, that is India-Pakistan Open window, cricket on the table, ministers hold talk. Okay, you know that our external affairs minister was there in Jammu and Kashmir. We will not go into details of it because when let's say 1 or 2 days after that we will be having a comprehensive idea that what has happened in the SCO summit, then we will be taking up that. Okay, so in this article we will be giving a passing reference. Now moving further, we will be talking about the practice question which was given to you. The islands of Taiwan lies to the north of which country? Okay, so here you can see there was this picture which was given. Islands of Taiwan, which is lying north of which country? In the, you can say, south we are having Philippines over here. In north of Philippines we have Taiwan. Okay, so here you can say option C would be a right answer, that is Philippines. Okay, now let's come to the discussion over here. Before that, we are having GS Foundation course offline mode in English medium. So at Lucknow Center that course has commenced on the 16th of October, that is yesterday, and in the Karol Bagh center, that is 17th of October, today. Admissions are yet open. You can directly visit the center or you can call on this number, that is 8010440440. You can call on this number for any kind of inquiry or you can directly visit the centers. Okay, now let's move further with the facts of the day. Before that, today we will be discussing the constitution part. Okay, because in the fact of the day there is one element which is there which I have to discuss with the news, so I have taken that in the next slide. Now here you can see we have discussed all these things. We were there at the emergency provisions. We have discussed the national emergency. We have discussed the what are the impacts of the national emergency, etc. Now let's see what is next. Okay, so here after national emergency we have president's rule. Okay, article 356. In this regard, article 355 also becomes important. We will see why. Okay, so let's see. President's rule. So obviously with the name it is clear that if in a state the constitutional machinery is not working, or they are not following the center's direction, or the governor of the state has given a report that constitutional machinery of the state has broken down, in that case president can take the rule of the state in his own hand. That is called as president rule. Sometimes it is also referred as state emergency or the constitutional emergency. Okay, now see, can be imposed if a state government fails to function according to the constitutional provision or disobey the central direction. Okay, so if they are not working as per the constitution, or if there is a direction which has been given by the central government to a state government but they are not working accordingly, in that case you will be going for the president's rule. Okay, it can happen on the discretion of the president, it can happen on a report of the governor to the president. Okay, so that is there. Now the president can declare this based on the governor's report or independently on his own discretion. Then approval and the duration. You know that when the resolution or when the presidential order is there with respect to that, then parliament has to approve it. Okay, in the case of national emergency we have seen that within 1 month you have to get it approved by the parliament. Now in case of the president's rule, here you can say they can go for the 2 months. Okay, the proclamation must be approved by both the house of parliament within 2 months. Okay, so that timeline here is different, that is 2 months. For national emergency it is 1 month. Okay, then coming to the next one, what is the time period for which this proclamation will be active? That is 6 months. Okay, for 6 months at a time, but you can go for the extension up to 3 years. Every 6 months you can get the approval, then you can extend it up to 3 years. Okay, that is another provision which is there. It lasts for the 6 months and can be extended up to 3 years with parliamentary approval every 6 months. Every time you have to take the approval. A simple majority in the parliament is sufficient. In case of national emergency we had the special majority. Okay, here only simple majority for the proclamation will be fine. In case of revocation in the national emergency, that was you can say simple majority. For the proclamation, for the you can say starting a national emergency, that was special majority. Okay, now move further and see extension beyond 1 year. Now if you have to go for the extension beyond 1 year, we have seen that for 6 months you can take. Okay, after that one more time you can take for the 6 months, but if you are going beyond 1 year, then there are two conditions that should be there. One is that a national emergency must be in effect in the state or any part of the state or the any part of country. If there is national emergency which is in you can say, or the proclamation is there with respect to the national emergency, okay, or national emergency is active in some part of the state or let's say a nation, in that case you can go beyond 1 year for the state emergency or the president rule. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is, if election commission says that we will not be able to conduct the elections over here, then you can have the president rule. Now why we are talking about president rule today? That is one, you can say this issue which has happened with respect to the Jammu and Kashmir. When we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, I have told you that this is the first time after 2019 they are witnessing a CM. Okay, till then they had the president's rule. Okay, so president's rule will be gone and now Jammu and Kashmir will see a new government. Okay, so that is the case because election commission could not conduct the elections over there. Okay, now coming to the revocation part, president can revoke the president's rule without any kind of parliamentary approval. At his own will, he can directly go for the, you can say, revocation of the president's rule. Now can parliament do it? Obviously if parliament is not going for the approval of a, you can say, proclamation or you can say resolution after 6 months, then obviously it will end. Okay, so this is about the revocation. Now if we talk about effects, what will be the effects? Obviously the power will come to the president. Okay, when we talk about power to the president, that means that ultimately power will come to the council of ministers, because you know that president work on the aid and advice of the council minister. Then parliament assume the power of the state legislature. Okay, sorry, not the council of ministers, I would say parliament. Okay, because central government, or when we are talking about the emergency like situations, the law making power comes to the parliament. Okay, because that is the central legislature. Okay, coming to the president, when we talk about the president's rule, obviously he is working on the aid and advice of the council of ministers. But when we talk about the legislative power, who will make law for the state, that law will be made by the parliament. Okay, because earlier it was made by the state assembly. So that is there, parliament will assume the power of the state legislature. The state council of ministers is dismissed. Okay, the state legislative assembly is suspended or dissolved. That can be suspended or dissolved, that depends on the situations. Okay, Law made during the president rules remain effective even after it ends. It does not affect the fundamental right. Okay. Now this is the important factor. When there is a president rule, it will not affect the fundamental rights. Okay. It is more of a suspension or the dissolution of the government than having an effect on the, you can say, citizens. Okay. Now let's move further and see the fact of the day, that is related to terminal high altitude area defense, that is THAAD. Now this THAAD has been asked in UPSC once. Like I don't remember 2020 or 2021 they have asked about this THAAD. Okay, so you can check. So this becomes important, and recently it was in news. Okay, because the THAAD system, which has been actually recently been deployed in the Israel, that has been sent by the Americans. Okay, so that is why it was in news. So let's see overview. THAAD is an advanced US anti-ballistic missile system designed to intercept and destroy short, medium and intermediate range missiles. Now let's see. If there is this particular place, let's say there is this island, okay, let's say Diego Garcia, okay, there is this island wherein USA has this THAAD system in place. Now if there is any kind of missile, that short, intermediate range or the, you can say medium range, if they are coming over here, that THAAD system, what will they do? That will intercept the missiles and they will destroy. Okay, so this has simple rule that whenever there is a missile coming, they will try to, you know, actually destroy that. So that is there. So it is having a principle, that is hit to kill. Hit to kill, that means that once this THAAD is activated and it is launching a missile to, you can say, target another missile, that means that it will directly go and hit and destroy it completely. Okay, so here you can see it uses the hit to kill approach, where an interceptor missile destroys its targets by directly colliding with using sheer impact of force rather than explosives. Okay, however, it cannot detect low flying object like drones. So it cannot go for the object like drones, but the thing is it will directly destroy the missiles, etc. Okay. Now when we are talking about the deployment of THAAD here, in 2008 the US deployed early mission warning radar, a part of THAAD system, to Israel. Similar deployments were also made in 2012 and 19, and now this time also in 2024, since you know that there is this issue going on between the Israel and Iran, now that has escalated. That is why, for the security purpose and to make sure that there is no you can say missile attacks on the Israel, that is why they have gone for the you can say upgrading in the system, and they have sent the THAAD system, or you can say upgraded system, to Israel. Okay, now see over here, as I told you that I have a news to discuss with that. So here, this THAAD, a highly advanced US missile defense system sent to the Israel along with troops to operate it. US troops are sent to Israel to operate this particular system over here. Here you can see THAAD battery consists of 95 soldiers, 6 trucks of mounted launchers, 48 interceptors, radar surveillance and radar, and the tactical fire component. You don't have to understand all these things, but see how complex this system is. This is having 95 soldiers which will operate this. It is having a 6 truck mounted launcher, 48 interceptors. Okay, it is to make sure that there is no missile which is coming into that particular area. Okay, now it provides a rapidly deployable capability against short range missiles, medium range missiles, and the limited intermediate range as well. So up to 5,000 kilometers. If a missile is launched, then they will be able to actually intercept it. Okay, when let's say when we talk about the missiles are having various ranges. Over here we have this short range missile that is up to 1,000 kilometers. Then we have medium range that is up to 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers. 3,000 to 5,000 that is basically intermediate range. Okay, so for intermediate range that will also work. Okay. Now it can defend a larger area than the older Patriot air and missile system which was there in the you can say Israel, which was already in place. It will have a, you can say, larger area that will cover it. Okay. Now why they are going for this? Because recently you know that after the October 7th attack by the Hamas, that attack has actually breached the Iron Dome which Israel had. There was this you can say conception that no missile can penetrate the Iron Dome, so Israel was kind of safe. Okay, but recently when we are talking about this October 7th attack, we have seen there are few missiles which has actually hit the Israel's area. After that also the hundreds of missiles has been fired by the Iran recently. So that is, considering all these things, they have got for the upgradation of the THAAD system. Okay. So class timing is generally 10:30, but because of some reason it will be 10:35, because sometimes technical issues are there, sometimes some human error can be there. So mostly the time is officially 10:30 to 11:30, but most you will be taking a, you can say, margin of 5 minutes. Okay, so that's it about it. I guess Susmita was asking about it, so let's move further, and we will be discussing the another article, that is Omar takes charge as Jammu and Kashmir CM, says won't let Jammu feel that they do not have a voice. Okay, after a long time, now there is a state assembly which is there. No, we know that Jammu and Kashmir is a union territory, but there are union territories in India which are having their own assembly. Okay, like Delhi, Puducherry. Now we have Jammu and Kashmir which is having a state assembly. There was this election which has happened, and after that, when we talk about these elections, the turnout was amazing. Okay, and so now we are having this government under Omar Abdullah. Okay, and he will be leading the government over here. Right now, what is important for us? It is important to understand what is the structure of the governance in the Jammu and Kashmir. So we'll try to understand the structure of the governance. We'll try to understand what changes has been made after 2019. Okay, so let's see. Revocation of Jammu and Kashmir's statehood, that has happened on the 5th of August 2019. Okay, then we can say that the some aspects or the some provisions of the article 370 has been abrogated. With respect to Jammu and Kashmir, if we are talking about these provisions of the article 370, which was giving a special status to Jammu and Kashmir, that has been revoked. Okay, Jammu and Kashmir's special status under article 370 was revoked. It was bifurcated into two union territories. Earlier it was a whole state, then it was divided into two union territories. One is of Jammu and Kashmir, second is of Ladakh. Okay, now Jammu and Kashmir will be having a legislative assembly on the lines of Delhi and Puducherry, and when we are talking about Ladakh, Ladakh will be governed by the administrator, which will be appointed by the president. Okay, we know that when we talk about the you can say administration of the union territories, president is the authority who will decide for the administrator of the union territory, and in the name of president he will be actually running the administration over there. Okay, now coming to the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act, this is the act through which these provisions were you can say effected. Okay, or get into effect. Now, amendment to the first schedule of the constitution to reflect the new union territory. First schedule is talking about the union and its territories. Okay, so earlier it was there in the state's name. Now that has been removed from the states list, and now it is placed in the union territories list. Okay, so first schedule has to be amended. Coming to the next one, governance framework under article 239, which governs the union territories. So that has been placed under article 239. Okay. Now coming to the next part, wherein we will be talking about the governance structure in Jammu and Kashmir. See, Jammu and Kashmir's governance is modeled similarly to the union territories like Delhi and Puducherry, but there are certain differences. When we talk about Delhi and Puducherry, you know that Delhi is the NCR region, National Capital Region, and that is why there are certain you can say exceptions which are there with respect to Delhi. Similarly, when we are talking about Jammu and Kashmir, there are certain exceptions which are there with respect to the governance. Now, Article 239A, the region will have a legislative assembly like Puducherry. Assembly's power are limited compared to the full-fledged state. Obviously, that is the case in the case of Delhi as well. Okay, so powers of the legislative assembly. So what are the power which has been given to the, you can say, assembly? So assembly can go and make laws on the subjects which are there in the, you can say, states list. Okay, so that is there, state assembly is there, so obviously that will make laws with respect to the subjects in the state list, but there are two exceptions which are there. Okay, so that is basically the public order and the police. When we talk about the union territory of Delhi, in case of Delhi there are three subjects. One is land, second is police, third is public order. In these three areas, government of Delhi cannot make a law. Okay, on the other hand, when we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, there are areas like public order and the police wherein they can not make the law. Okay, moving further, can legislate on the concurrent list as well. As I told you, they can legislate on this state list that is given in the section 32. Similarly, they can go for the legislation on the concurrent list as well, but that should you can say be under the simply you can say that cannot go beyond the center's law which has already been made, or you can say when there is a conflict between the union territories law which is made in the Jammu and Kashmir and there is already a law which is existing at the central level, so that law, the state assembly's law, cannot overpower the center's law. So center will have a dominant role over here. Okay, So that is there, can legislate on the concurrent list provided there is no conflict with the centre's law. Section 36 is talking about the financial bills, wherein the lieutenant governor has been given, you can say, extra power on the recommendation of the LG only. You can go for the, you can say, putting forward a financial bill. Okay, so that is there with respect to the powers of the assembly. Now what is the role of lieutenant governor over here? So specific power has been given to the lieutenant governor over here. Lieutenant governor holds significant power under section 53 of the act, can act independently in the matters beyond the legislative powers of the assembly. Okay, legislative, when we talk about the legislative power, you know that there is this state list and then there is this concurrent list, but there are certain subjects on which the LG will have more power, such as the All India Services, Anti-Corruption Bureau, etc. Okay. Coming to the next one, it has the authority to make crucial decisions like appointing the advocate general and the law officers. In that case also, the, you can say, government will have no say. LG's decisions are difficult to challenge in the court, making it, you can say, having a powerful position in the administrative roles. Then he has discretion over the matters outside the purview of the legislative assembly, thus influencing the regions. Hold on. Okay, so thus influencing the region's governance successfully, okay, or you can say significantly. Now that is why here you can see that position of the lieutenant governor has been made dominant, more power has been given to the lieutenant governor. Now this is all about the Jammu and Kashmir's assembly, their powers, and you can say what are the role of lieutenant governor. So that much is important for your examination. Now we can move further with the next article. Now center has gone for, hiking, or you can say increase in the MSP of few crops. Here you can see the list is given: wheat, barley, gram, lentil, and the you can say rapeseed, mustard, and the sunflower. Okay. Now when we are talking about these data, that is not important for us. Just know that MSP has been hiked. Know that the rice and wheat are the crops which are having you can say higher MSP when we are talking about. Okay. So that is there. So here you can see when we are talking about the number, or when we are talking about the wheat over here, so MSP is somewhere around 2400. Okay, for other crops it is 1900. Okay, gram it is 5600, etc. But when we talk about the hike or the percentage hike which has been seen in the MSP, so rice and wheat is having a disproportionate hike. Okay, anyways. Now for us it is important to understand that what is MSP, for how many crop it is been given, who is the authority which is decide on the MSP. Okay, so here you can say crop under MSP, there are 22 you can say mandated crops, and there is a fair and remunerative price for one. Okay, so you can see that there are 22 crops. Other than that we have sugarcane. For sugarcane we have FRP. Okay, fair and remunerative price, and when we are talking about the 22 crops we have MSP. Okay, so that is there. The mandated crops include 14 crops of the Kharif season, 6 crops of the Rabi season, and 2 other commercial crops. Okay, that is cotton and jute. Okay, so this is about the MSP for which you can say government is announcing it. Now coming to the what is MSP. Now when we talk about the minimum support price, that is there for the farmers who are going for the cultivation, and then government is sourcing this cultivated item from the farmers at a particular rate. Okay, now why government is announcing this rate? So that farmers are ensured that minimum I'll be getting this much from the government. If no one is taking my product, then government will be taking it at this particular price. Okay, though government do not have the capacity to go for taking all the you can say produce from the farmers, but still that is something is better than nothing. Okay, so here you can see minimum support price, MSP is guaranteed amount paid to the farmer when the government buys a product from the you can say farmer, or you can say government is buying the produce from the farmer. Okay, MSP is based on the recommendation of the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. So CACP is a body, that is Commission for Agricultural Cost and the Prices, which consider various aspects. Okay, production cost, it will go for the demand and supply related mechanism, etc. Considering all these things, considering all the market mechanism, they will come up with the recommendation of the you can say MSP. Over here you can see they consider various factors such as the cost of production, demand and supply, market price trends, intercrop price parity, etc. All these things they look into, and then they give the you can say recommendation of the price. Then it is a body which is attached under the office of Ministry of Agriculture and the Farmer Welfare. Okay, so please remember this. There are two things which you have to remember. One is the name of the commission, that is CACP, and second is it is under the Ministry of Agriculture and the Farmers Welfare. Now there is this Cabinet Committee on the Economic Affairs. Cabinet Committee on the Economic Affairs is the body which is announcing, okay, or which is finalizing the MSP and announcing it to the farmers. Okay. Now this body is chaired by a PM himself. Okay, so that is there. Here you can say Cabinet Committee on the Economic Affairs, chaired by the Prime Minister of India, takes the final decision and the approve on the levels of the MSPs. Okay, MSP is aimed at ensuring remunerative prices to the growers for their produce. Okay, so that is basically MSP. Now if government is going for the increase in the MSP somewhere, then you can say that government is trying to incentivize the farmers to go for the cultivation of that particular crop. Okay, or if government wants to support a particular crop, if government wants that pulses production should be increased, in that case government will increase the MSP of the pulses. Okay, so that is quite obvious. Okay, let's move further. Now we will be seeing the bone ossification test. Sorry for that. Okay, so let's see. There was this incident which has happened in Maharashtra. There was this murder case of, you can say you recently must have heard about the assassination of the MLA Baba Siddiqui, and in that particular case there is this person who was accused, and that person claimed that he is a child, or you can say below the age of majority, that is below age of 18, and that is why he should be tried under the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay. In India, when we talk about the framework of law, we have this jurisprudence wherein the kids are treated differently in the eyes of law. Okay, we are not saying that this is against the right to equality, because we know that in some cases we have to treat equals equally. Okay, so when we talk about a kid, we cannot send him to a jail wherein you are having people who are serving there for the heinous crimes, etc., because that will have a negative impact on the psychology of that particular kid. Okay, that is why we have Juvenile Justice Act, which is treating the kids differently. Now this person says that I am a kid, so obviously I should be tried under the Juvenile Justice Act. Now how will you decide that whether you are a major or a minor, or you can say whether you have achieved the age of 18 or not? So that is based on the documents. Okay, Aadhaar card says that he is not a kid. Okay, but the thing is, there are certain other documents, or you can say certain claims which has been made by him, and considering that there was this confusion, and for which the court has gone for the ossification test. Okay, now what is bone ossification test? Basically this is talking about the bone density of a person. Okay, how the bone structure, density, and the, you can say, shapes of the bone are. So basically you will go for an X-ray test, in which they will they have a standard value, or they have a standard X-ray from which they will compare it, and accordingly they will decide that approximately his age will be around this much to this much. Okay, they will give a bracket. Okay, so approximate age will be this much. Now this is the bone ossification test. Okay, so let's see what is it and how it works in the Indian jurisprudence. Okay, this is the, you can say, basically the issue wherein we have talked about the MLA Baba Siddiqui death, and then there was this accusation which was made. Ultimately it was found that he was not a minor. Okay, but right now let's see what is the bone ossification test and how does it determine the age. Ossification is the natural process of the bone formation inside your body. After you are there in the womb of a mother, then there is this bone formation which starts. Everyone has a different pace. Okay, but there is a standard pace, we can say that, or you can say there are certain special cases wherein this pace can differ, but mostly you will have a similar pace, because obviously gestation period is 9 months. So accordingly there will be this particular you can say speed. Now this starts from the early developmental stage of the fetus and continues until the adolescence, but differs slightly from individuals to individual. Okay, based on the stage of the development of the bone, expert can determine the approximate age of a person. Similarly, when you talk about the carbon dating, etc., how much carbon has gone, accordingly you will decide the date of a fossil. Similarly, how much bone has actually got its strength, or how much bone density is there, or you can say at what developmental stage the bone is, accordingly you can decide the age of a person. Okay, so that is there. Based on the you can say stage of the development, they will be deciding the age of the person. In the bone ossification test, X-ray of a few bones are taken, that is of hand, wrist, and conduct some skeleton related you can say tests which are there, conducted to determine the skeleton and the biological development. X-ray of a standard development. Now they have a X-ray of the standard development with which they will go for the comparison. Okay, why the age determination is significant in the criminal justice system? As I told you that in case of minors or the kids who are below 18 years of age, for them we are having the juvenile justice law. In India, a person below 18 years age is considered a minor, a criminal criminal law differentiates between the child and the adult when it comes to the procedure, correction and the rehabilitation and the you can say punishment. Okay, below the age of 18 years we have Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. A child who is found in the conflict with law, or you can say a person who is accused. Okay, so that is called as, in the language of law, it is called as child in conflict with law. Child in conflict with law, or similar can be the case a person in conflict with law, or you can say that a person who has actually been accused of, you can say, not following the law. Okay, so that is there. So for such kids we are having this Juvenile Justice Act. Now after that there will be a, you can say, Juvenile Justice Board which will be there, and a magistrate and two eminent social you can say socialist person, or the person who is having some kind of record in the social services sector, they will be there in the board, and they will decide on the matter. Once the matter is decided, and if they can acquit, if the person is not guilty, and if it is guilty, then they will be sent to a correction centers and not into the jails. Okay, so that is there in the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay, coming to the next one over here. So here you can see what have the court said about the bone ossification test. So when we talk about the juvenile justice law, first you will go for the, you can say directly, you will have to see the documents. If there are documents and documents are saying that particular age is right, okay, in that case you don't have to go for the bone ossification test. Bone ossification test is the last resort, you can say. Okay, so here you can say section 94 of the Juvenile Justice Act, where it is obvious based on the appearance and the said person is a child, the board can proceed without the confirmation of age. If it is if a person like me goes to the, you can say, board, okay, so obviously it is clear that I'm not a kid. Okay, so if that is clear, then you don't have to go for the confirmation of the age. But if there is some kind of doubt, then you have to go for the confirmation. First you will look at the documents. If documents are sufficient, documents are there to confirm the age, then it's all right. Otherwise they will go for the bone, you can say there are medical boards, etc., and the last stage is to go for, that is your bone ossification test. Okay. Where can we get the PDF of, okay, so there is this link of a Telegram channel which is given in the, you can say, description. You can directly click on the link, you will be proceed with the challenge, and that in that particular Telegram channel we are uploading the PDF of these discussions every day. Okay, so it will take around 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours after the discussion, that will be uploaded over there. Okay, now coming to the next part over here, that how reliable bone ossification tests are. Obviously, as I told you that different individuals has the different stage of development, different speed of development, and because of which there are chances of error. Okay, so they take a margin of 2 years. Okay, so let's see, variability is there, so that can impact the accuracy. Difference in development can actually have some kind of scope for the error. Okay, ossification test give a range, say 17 to 19. Now ossification will be giving you a range like 17 to 19, that person is between the 17 to 19 years of age. So court most of the time will go for the larger one. Okay, so that is there. Here you can say the upper age is the test reference range should be considered, and the margin of error of 2 years is required to be applied. Now what they will do is they will consider the upper age, and then they will be applying a margin of 2 years. Okay, so they will be going for the, considering that, they will be going for the determination of the age. Okay, I hope that is clear. So now we can move further with the next one, that is casting shadow on the Nepal. China builds a new great wall along the border. Okay, please be regular. I'm sorry, I was not well, and that is why I could not take live yesterday, but we are regular only. Okay, if there is some kind of issue and we are missing one day's newspaper, then that will be covered in the next day, so don't worry about that. The best part of newspaper is that news get repeated again and again, so don't worry about that, your preparation is on the track. Okay, anyways, now there is a wall which has been created by, you can say, China on the Nepal border. Now why on the Nepal border? Because Nepal has been focusing more on the conflict with India with respect to the Kalapani, Lipu Lake, etc. They did not give much attention to the China's part, and China has the aggressive tendencies. They will, if they find 1 inch of land which is unattended, they will go over there and park their vehicle. Okay, so that is what they are doing in Nepal as well. So China's border wall, China is building a fortified fence along its border with the Nepal's Hulma district. Okay, so we will be seeing the location of the Hulma district, sometimes referred as the new Great Wall of China. Now they are, what they are doing is they are creating a wall, they are creating a fencing. okay, and that is called as the new Great Wall of China. That is on the, you can say, Nepal and the China border. Now what is the border dispute? Nepalese authorities have accused China of encroaching on the Nepalese territories in the Humla district, and the fence crossed several disputed points along the China-Nepal border. So what they are doing is they have crossed the disputed areas and they are creating a wall over there. Nepal can't do much about it, because if China is doing that, then there is nothing Nepal can do. Culture and the political pressure. China is pressuring the Tibetan origin Nepalese not to display images of the Dalai Lama, and has been accused of influencing Nepali politics and the local culture in the border region. So basically China is trying to have a sway in Nepal. They are trying to impact the local politics as well, and now they are showing aggression on the, you can say, borders as well. Now China has this tendency, they will go for the aggression and they will put forward some kind of demand, and ultimately they will, you know, take a step back, but there will be something in return you have to give it to them. Okay, that is the strategy China is having. Anyways, now moving further, here you can see China's expansion strategy, which is always there. As I told you, if they find 1 inch of a land which is unattended, they will go for the occupation of that land. Okay, so right now they are doing it in the Nepal's, you can say, territories. Now here you can say this is the you can say map of Nepal. This is India. Okay, Nepal was more focused on this particular part. Nepal was more focused on the Madheshi issues over there with the conflict with the when we are talking about this particular area. Madheshis are having a cultural affinity with the people of UP and Bihar. Okay, so considering that they were focused more on the southern part of the border, they did not look at this particular area in the northern parts, and ultimately this is the Humla district, which is on the border with China, and China is showing some kind of aggression over here, and they are creating a fencing over there. Okay, so that is there. Security concern, if we talk about, so Himalayan passes near Humla at an altitude of over 16,000 feet are of strategic importance. Fact-finding mission and the officials has confirmed Chinese abuses, but the information remains largely restricted. There was this mission in 2021, I guess, that is fact-finding mission. That mission has said that China is abusing these particular areas, China is getting into these areas, but they did not pay much attention that time. But now China is creating a wall. So that is something which has been in the news. Humla district of Nepal. Please remember that. Okay. Other than that, when we talk about with India, you can say there is this territory Susta, then Kalapani, then we have Limpia Dhura, we have Lipu Lake. These are the areas which are disputed between India and Nepal. Okay. I hope that is clear. Now let's move further. We have talked about this geopolitical implications, because obviously if China is going for the aggression, you know, in a country like Nepal, China is going for the aggression in the areas of South China Sea as well. So that is something which has been discussed again and again. India, Nepal, China triangle. Nepal's foreign policy focuses has been more on the southern border with India, as we have discussed already. They even as China increases its influence along the northern border, which we have already seen. International perspective, if we see, so obviously Xi Jinping is having this assertive policies. Okay, so that is also there, which is you can go through this and give it a read. Now greenwashing guidelines, there was this article in the Explained. Okay, it was a big article, there was various examples which are given, which was not important for us, so I have taken only which is important for us. Okay, now greenwashing, you know that with respect to the climate change and environmental related issues, there was this you can say people are having been more and more, you can say, cautious about these things, and they want to go for the eco-friendly initiatives. Now there are various corporates which are exploiting this you can say ideology of the people, that they want to go for the eco-friendly you can say products, etc. So what they are doing is they are putting false information. They are putting like let's say this is a green product or the clean product or the eco-friendly product on their products, when you are talking about the actual nature of that particular product, that is not basically eco-friendly. Now that is what is the greenwashing. Greenwashing is a broader term, but you can simply understand that if there is a product which is having, let's say, some kind of animal fur in that, okay, but they have done some kind of initiative with respect to the packaging, they have not used the plastic. So they have put a tag that we are eco-friendly, we are not using plastic, but you are using animal fur. So ultimately you are not eco-friendly. Okay, so that is the kind of greenwashing which is happening. So that was there in the news recently. So let's see. Although greenwashing as a term has been used in the limited context in the advertising and in these guidelines, it is much broader in scope. Greenwashing refers to the growing tendency of companies, organizations, or even countries to make dubious or unverifiable claims about their activities, products or services being environmental friendly or the climate friendly. Okay, they are saying that we are climate friendly, but there is no way to verify that. Okay, so that is basically is your greenwashing. Due to the highlighted sensitivity to the climate change, there is a rising pressure on the corporations and the governments to go for the, you can say, activity which are less damaging to the environment. Okay, so in that context, considering that there is a pressure, a lot of pressure from the community that you have to go for the eco-friendly, you can say, initiatives, etc. So considering that, these corporates or the organizations, they are making false claims as well. Okay, so here you can see, I guess many of them has the legal commitments or the targets to adhere to, and in this regard, and that is why they are doing such stuff. As a result, companies and the governments often make claims that are exaggerated, misleading and in some cases wrong. Okay, so ultimately, just to fulfill the target, just to, you can say, succumbing under the pressure, they are making false claims. Okay, now what should be the case? There are 6 principles for the trustworthy environmental claims. Okay, if you are going to make a claim, then you should make sure that this is trustworthy. So first is truthful and accuracy. Whatever you are saying, that is truthful and that is accurate. Okay, second thing is clarity and unambiguity. Whatever you have said, that there is no let's say plastic which has been used, but you have to mention that the animal fur has been used. Okay, so there should be clarity, there should not be any kind of ambiguity. Okay, then fair and meaningful comparison should be there, so that is there. Fourth is your make absolute and the relevant claims. You should not just go for the succumbing under the pressure and make false claims. Okay, imagery should not be giving wrong impressions. Okay, whatever images are there on the product, that should not give a wrong impression. Then no misleading endorsements. You don't have to go for the false advertisements, or if you are saying something, that should be true. Okay, that should not be misleading. So these are the 6 principles which is there with respect to the you can say eco-friendly initiative or eco-friendly tagging if you are giving it. Okay, so that should be followed. So this is about greenwashing, simply understanding that if someone is making wrong claims with respect to being eco-friendly, climate friendly or environment friendly, that is basically your greenwashing. Okay. Okay, so for English improvement, just practice, nothing else you can do. Okay, moving further. There is this passing reference to this, as I told you that we are going for the SCO summit to Pakistan 15th and 16th. So we were there in Pakistan, we have gone for the discussions, etc. There was this thing which was on the table, that is cricket. They might go for the, you know, starting cricket again, because when we talk about India and Pakistan match, obviously that generate a lot of revenue. Okay, so considering all these things, that was there. We will be waiting for an article with respect to the findings, or you can say what our observations are there with respect to the SCO summit, then we will discuss it. Okay, right now we will not go into details of this. Territorial integrity to terror, Jaishankar takes a swipe at the China and Pakistan. Why territorial integrity? Obviously with respect to China Pakistan economic corridor, which is passing through the India's territory. Okay, so that is basically is a hit on the India's sovereignty. So that is one thing. Then terror obviously for the Pakistan. Okay, moving further. China to build lunar space station, explore habitable planets. China has recently gone to, you can say, moon, and they have bring back the samples from the moon. Okay, these samples are basically of the moon's surface, etc. Okay, so mission was Chang. Okay, Chang E5, I guess. So you can check either it is E4 or E5. I guess it is E5. So you can check. We have discussed it earlier. I'm not able to recall it. Second thing is North Korea blows up road rail lines near the border. When we talk about this, you know, this Korean peninsula. Okay, so it is something like this, and there is this line which is basically your border between the South Korea and the North Korea. Now there is this you can say demilitarized zone which is also there, and there are some roads and you can say railway links were there up to this particular border. Okay, so North Korea has blown this road on their own side, because of which South Korea is also being cautious about it. Okay, so North Korea blew up section of inter-Korean road and rail links on its side of the heavy fortified border between the two Koreas, prompting South Korea's military to fire some warning shots that just be whatever you want to do it in your own territory. If you get into this side, then there will be some problem. Okay, now you know that we are facing problems in the Middle East. Now such things in this particular area, China is going for excessive or the exaggerated drills in the Taiwan. That is saying that we are living in a most uncertain world order right now. Okay, anyways, Now we can move further to the next one, that is with respect to the MQ-9B Predator drones. Recently there were certain drones which has been ordered by India from USA. Okay, that is why this MQ-9B was in news. I'm telling you about this because if they ask you about MQ-9B, you should know that it is a drone which has been you can say ordered by India from USA. Okay, so it is having a takeoff weight capacity, that is 5670 kilograms. Okay, fuel capacity of 2721. So you can go through this. Now crew members, so this is a Predator drone. This will be operated from the ground. There will be 2 pilots which will be needed from the ground stations. Okay, weapon, laser guided missiles are there, anti-tank missiles are there, anti-ship missiles are there. Okay, so for ships, tanks, and you can say laser guided missiles which are there. Other than that, missions, humanitarian assistance, it can go for the supply of some kind of food products, etc., or some kind of you can say some kind of relief has to be provided in the you can say some area of some casualty. Okay, so that can be used. So for the humanitarian assistance, search and rescue operations, law enforcement, border enforcement, defense, counter air and airborne early warnings, electronic warfare, anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, anti-bomb mile counters, all these range of you can say uses which are there of the MQ-9B which has been ordered by India from USA. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now for your own read, there is this article, abatement of suicide. Okay, why Supreme Court cautions against the unnecessary prosecution. You can directly you can say read the article which is given in the very simple language, or you can see the Polity This Week episode of last week. Okay, wherein we have discussed this issue of abatement of suicide and what Supreme Court has said with respect to that. Okay, so I hope that is clear. With that, we'll be moving to the last part, that is the MCQ for you for your own practice. Which article of the Constitution governs Union territories? Article 239, 370, 356 or 243. So you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box. Okay. FIR revision. Okay, I'll take a topic of FIR in the fact of the day. Okay, so anyways, with that, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you and please subscribe the channel.